I was halfway through fixing a billing pipeline that had been broken since 2016 when the boss leaned into my office, smelling like expensive cologne, and told me that his daughter was taking over my desk on Monday. No warning, no discussion, just a casual eviction from the space I had occupied for over a decade. Chloe, fresh out of college with a minor in social media and a profile full of vacation pictures, was moving in. I stared at him with my clipboard in hand, my mind completely blank from the sheer disrespect. Before we move forward with how I dismantled their entire operation, please take a second to subscribe to the channel right now. Your support helps us bring you more unbelievable stories just like this one, so do not forget to hit that notification bell. Now, back to the story. I had given 11 years to this firm without a single day of drama or unexcused absence, quietly keeping the entire back end together with sheer willpower. Now, the girl who once asked me if spreadsheets had an automatic undo button for real life was going to hang fairy lights where my strategy whiteboards used to be. I simply smiled and told him it was no problem, using the exact same tone normally reserved for a bad diagnosis. He did not even notice the iciness, just nodding like I had done him a massive favor before strutting away. I sat in my chair for another 45 minutes, completely unable to focus on work while staring at the blank wall. 11 years of my life had been quietly packed into that small room, from my custom sticky notes to the exact spot on the carpet I paced during late-night system updates. With one lazy sentence from the CEO, my entire dedication was being sacrificed for family favoritism with eyelash extensions. I knew right then that fighting it directly would be completely pointless, so I chose a different path entirely. Instead of causing a scene, I quietly packed my 3 most important personal belongings into a small bag. I took my favorite chipped ceramic mug, my personal leather notebook filled with 10 years of custom coding fixes, and a tiny black flash drive containing every system bypass I had ever built. I left the dual monitors, the ergonomic keyboard, and the tea bags on the desk, letting Chloe figure out how to navigate the physical space on her own. Before shutting the door, I took a quick photo of the room for future reference. I sent a brief message to Human Resources stating that I would be transitioning to remote work during the office adjustments, which was technically true. On Monday morning, I watched from my kitchen table as Chloe posted a video of herself spinning in my old chair with a caption about her new corporate lifestyle. She had already placed a massive ring light in the corner and pinned a motivational banner directly over my annual planning calendar. I genuinely wondered if she even knew how a fiscal quarter worked. The emails started trickling in by mid-afternoon, mostly minor questions from coworkers wondering where specific vendor agreements were stored. I completely ignored them, not out of petty anger, but because my operational goodwill had left the building the moment her pink water bottle replaced my mug. While the boss sent a company-wide email praising his daughter's natural leadership abilities, I opened a fresh spreadsheet on my laptop titled Project Tomorrow. If they wanted to redecorate my career with scented candles, I was going to build an exit strategy. The last time I saw that office, the afternoon sun was cutting through the dusty blinds, casting long grid shadows across the floor I used to clean myself. I had spent years being the invisible heartbeat of the operation, the person everyone relied on but nobody actually acknowledged until things went completely sideways. My black flash drive held the digital version of structural support that kept our data from collapsing during every end-of-month financial closing. Nobody ever asked how the magic happened. They were just glad the errors disappeared. I officially initiated my disappearance while sitting in my car with the engine running, staring at the office entrance one last time. I typed a sterile message to HR explaining that I was accessible via email during the transition, devoid of any emotional signature or unnecessary explanation. I tapped the send button, watched the confirmation appear, and then completely logged out of our internal communication systems. I did not set an out-of-office reply or schedule a transition meeting. I simply vanished from their network. By Tuesday morning, the first real cracks in the foundation began to echo through the company communications. For the first time in over a decade, the executive operational report did not arrive in the management inboxes at 8 in the morning. There were no data charts, no color-coded performance indicators, and no summaries of vendor delays, just total silence where organized structure usually lived. By midday, the finance director sent a message asking Chloe for the documentation, assuming it was handled. Chloe responded with a simple thumbs-up icon, but absolutely nothing followed that promise. An hour later, the sales director demanded the report before an upcoming client pitch, asking someone to grab it from the shared server. The problem was that the data pipeline did not exist on the shared server because it relied on rotating security tokens that I refreshed manually. It ran on a custom script I wrote years ago to keep the entire system from crashing, and absolutely nobody else knew how it functioned. While they struggled to locate the data, I sat in my living room with a legal pad, mapping out client tiers for my new independent consulting business. My phone lit up with a message from the executive assistant asking for the master vendor tracker because Chloe could not find it in my old drive folder. They spoke about it as if I had simply misplaced a file, completely unaware that the tracker required a manual encryption key that now lived on the laptop in front of me. By the end of the week, the polite inquiries had transformed into genuine panic among the department heads. A massive data delivery failure notice hit the inbox of our largest corporate client, the one with strict government compliance standards and a team of ruthless corporate lawyers. The message explicitly stated that the protocol breach could result in immediate contract suspension, which was a multi-million-dollar disaster. I had handled that specific verification process manually every Tuesday and Friday morning for 8 consecutive years. The boss finally called me later that afternoon, his name flashing on my screen like an unwelcome reminder of the past. I let the phone ring completely through before answering, greeting him with a neutral tone that immediately threw him off balance. He claimed there was a minor technical glitch with the compliance portal and asked if I could jump on a quick 5-minute call to resolve it. His usual arrogant booming voice was entirely gone, replaced by a desperate, shaky attempt at friendliness. I told him calmly that I was completely unavailable for internal troubleshooting, causing a long silence on his end of the line. He stuttered, offering to pay an hourly rate if I could just log in quickly to fix the compliance error before the client walked. I informed him that I now operated exclusively on a 3-month non-refundable retainer structure through my new firm, RAN Operations. He went entirely silent, realizing that he was no longer speaking to an employee he could order around, but a business owner holding all the leverage. He muttered something about reviewing his options and hung up, but the damage to his company was already accelerating. By the following Monday, Chloe missed 3 consecutive contractual deadlines for a major onboarding transition, causing a 12-year partnership to dissolve within hours. 2 other major accounts went completely dark, leaving invoices unpaid and projects stalled in limbo. The atmosphere inside the corporate office had turned entirely toxic, filled with frantic meetings and quiet whispers in the break room. The absolute climax occurred during their weekly operational meeting when someone secretly recorded an audio clip of Chloe completely losing her temper. She screamed that nobody had trained her, that the documentation did not exist, and that the vendors refused to speak to anyone but me. The sound of her notebook slamming onto the table was followed by an incredibly uncomfortable silence from the rest of the staff. They had finally realized that the person who kept the lights on was gone, and the building was dark. The boss attempted to text me multiple times after that, offering a better office, an apology, and a complete reset of our working relationship. I did not bother replying. I simply blocked his number permanently and focused entirely on signing my first 3 independent consulting clients. Ironically, 2 of those clients were major partners who left the old firm the moment the operations collapsed. They were more than happy to pay my premium retainer fee because they knew exactly who ran the engine. A week later, the company issued a quiet corporate restructuring notice announcing immediate staff layoffs to cover their massive financial losses. Chloe's profile was completely scrubbed from the team directory overnight, leaving a blank space where her brief executive career had been. They were left sitting in the physical wreckage of an organization they never truly understood, learning the hard way that you only notice the scaffolding once it falls on your head. I closed my old laptop, deleted my historical user account, and finally enjoyed the quiet comfort of a business I owned completely.